Welcome, I'm Elle Ingalls. Here's how you spell my last name. I just came straight off of the tennis courts and it's been quite a day. Finished a retreat today. This plays into what we're going to talk about tonight. So finished coaching a weekend retreat with some wonderful human beings in Pentwater, Michigan. We are on Lake Michigan. They're all going to see the sunset right now, but I am here with you. And it's just been really magical. So finished that in the morning. Then we had lunch, we hung out, we did some stuff. I worked with someone online and we all went out to dinner, had a little celebration. And I said to my youngest son, he and I love to play tennis. I go, do you want to play tennis? I brought the rackets and I just bought some balls. And it was about 8:10. And I said, we can play till about 8:40, 8:45. I can get back to the house in time in order to do this live. That is an example of do the one more thing, which is a motto of the Ingalls family when we go on vacations. And by the way, the do one more thing tends to be something that's fun. You can do it for hard things too. But we tend to do one more really fun thing before the night is over. I'm going to guess that after sunset, we'll even do one more thing, like play this huge round of multiplayer solitaire on the floor or something crazy with the people who are left. Some people are staying a little longer here. And so how are we able to do the one more thing? We've been able to do this as a family for years, but it definitely heightened as we became pressure-free. And for those of you who are new to me, I am the creator of the pressure-free method. That method is an on-the-go stress management method that can help you heal mentally and physically. It can help you step into your true abilities, your true potential. It can help you have the greatest vacation ever because you're present in the moment and you get to have so much more fun because you have energy. Some of my clients gain anywhere between 2 to 4 hours in their day of energetic time because they're actually getting a real night's sleep. I can attest to this. In about 8 weeks of using the pressure-free method in 2010, I gained about an hour and a half to 2 hours. If I took a look at what I'm able to do in a day now compared to what I used to do before, and if you've known me, I accomplish a lot. I'm one of those like ridiculous high achievers that's just going to keep learning more and doing more. Just it never ends. Like, let's go play tennis before I come on camera. So hence the crazy hair, and I don't care. I'm sweaty pits. It doesn't matter. I'm here with you now, and I'm going to coach you to the very best of my ability in the next 6 days on performance anxiety. And that rolls also into social anxiety and anxieties of any kind, because a lot of the anxieties that we have are based on us feeling that we're not quite good enough or that we can't quite do something right. And it's because we got a lot of messages in childhood, even if you have the greatest parents in the world, we all get it, that we reach for something, we can't quite have that. So I'm going to be explaining a lot of things along the way here over the next 6 days. Each one of these nights is going to have a specific theme. Tonight's theme is hitting the wall. So for those of you who are athletes, you know what that is. Or if you're performing musicians, you also know it too. It's like you get to a certain point, it's like, oh, I can't do anymore. And you'll feel that if you work in the workplace, you'll feel it like you're working really great, really hard. And then all of a sudden you hit the wall. It's like, I'm done for the day. Take me away. So this wall of resistance happens for all of us. If you're a parent at home, mom or dad, if you're a parent at home, you will hit, I used to call it the witching hour, like right before dinner where things are just really intense and everybody's a little squirrely, everybody's hungry. By the way, I have a total great solution to that. Cut up a big plate of fruit and put it in the middle of the dining room table. Your kids and their friends will devour it. And it gets all the enzymatic activity going in their body. So when they eat their food, they digest it really well. You'll probably have a lot less issues with stomach issues if you just give your kids a plate of fruit before dinner. So I learned that many, many years ago from, I think it was Fit for Life, a couple of books way back when, that having your fruit first is extremely helpful. So anyway, that helps with that time period where, you're trying to get dinner ready, all the stuff is going down and everybody's hangry, right? Okay, back to this hitting the wall thing. Resistance. Let's talk about it at a physiological, biological level first. So what is actually happening in the human body? When we hit that point where we feel exhaustion, when we hit that particular point, if you read about hitting the wall and see what's happening physically, there'll be a lot of talk about glycogen being pulled out of the liver, even the heart. So glycogen is stored in the liver. And when you're working hard, especially physically, so if you're an athlete or musician or dancer or construction worker, you're like working hard with your body, especially, you'll pull glycogen out of your liver because you've taken care of all the glucose that you already have. You're out of reserves, and your reserves are stored in your liver. So this can be kind of dangerous to be pulling that much glycogen out. When you pull glycogen out of the liver and any other organ in your body, it is going to hydrolyze to create glucose. So it's going to mix with water and create glucose, which is sugar, so that you have energy to survive. Okay, because it thinks you need to survive at this point. That's going to get into fight or flight here. Let me just go over there right away. So when you trigger the fight or flight stress response for any reason, you're going to have a huge amount of adrenaline go out and wick fat and glucose from your brain cells and from your extremities, which is why your hands and feet might get cold. It's why you might suddenly feel a lot of brain fog. You may even feel like you're going to faint. You may feel your face turn red, like in embarrassment, even your throat turn red. Your heart might be pounding out of your chest. Your heart rate is going to get really high to release that flood of hormones that makes all this stuff happen. And you also pull glycogen out of your liver. So that's incredible to know, because if you can start to learn about the physiology of your body, if I can enlighten you about that, and I can show you some ways to not trigger fight or flight, you're going to protect your heart, your liver, your brain cells, your extremities, the very tips of your fingers. Now, that's quite remarkable when you think about it, because so many people in their day, every single day, hit the wall. They have their day. They get home so exhausted. They don't want to cook a good dinner. They don't want to work out. They don't want to play with their kids or hang out with their partner, spouse, whoever you live with, or your dog. You're too tired to even walk the dog. I had a day where pretty much everything went wrong at the office, and I was only working part-time, to be honest. I still remember I was in a beautiful pink silk suit, like kind of a soft pink suit with a white linen blouse. Like, it was quite an outfit, right? I still remember it very clearly. And I came home about 6:30. And when you first walk in our house, we had a few sofas. One of the sofas that's right closest to the door was a favorite of our old yellow dog, Carrie. Okay. I came in there and I just flopped on the couch, like complete flop. My son walked by, and the night before we'd been watching a movie with a woman who was very stressed, who was smoking all the time. And he goes, "Geez, Mom, you look like that woman in the movie. Do you need a cigarette?" I've never smoked a cigarette in my entire life, nor a joint. Okay. "Do you need a cigarette?" That's actually what he said to me. And by the way, I would never have my pink suit on the couch. It's very unusual. I get and change into my grubby clothes. I wouldn't be in my nice suit. I would go upstairs and take that off. So that's why he was like, "Wow, something's wrong." Then my husband comes walking through and he goes, "Geez, honey, you look like you need a drink." We didn't even keep alcohol in the house. And during that time period, I didn't drink at all. So he was like, "You need a drink. What's wrong with you?" I hit the wall. I was completely exhausted. So exhausted, I wouldn't even protect my pretty suit from the dog hairs all over the couch. So hitting the wall, the resistance is glycogen. What can we do to prevent it? A lot of people are under the idea that it's exhaustion that causes us to hit the wall. We're exhausted, okay? But that's not really it. We need to back up in our day and determine, how many times have we triggered fight or flight? Like, be really honest with yourself from the time you woke up until the time you've hit the wall. It only takes once for you to hit a wall because you've already pulled glycogen out of your liver when you trigger that first flood of hormones. Is that making sense? Like, you've already depleted yourself. First thing in the morning, if you wake up and your alarm's going wank, wank, I don't even know which one that is on my ringtones, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like wank, wank, and you go, oh God, and you hit the snooze button, but your heart's beating. Probably triggered too much of your stress hormones right when you first wake up. Or maybe it's commute. There's been so many cool studies done about this, but one in particular, if you have a commute on a bicycle or in a car that is more than 15 minutes in the morning or whenever you're going to work. Some of my clients work at night. I have a nurse who works at night. But if it's more than 15 minutes, you're more than likely to encounter something that's going to cause you to trigger the stress response. So now you're triggering it in your commute. If you haven't already triggered it a few times at home, like, oh, maybe you dropped something on the floor, or you can't find your keys, or where's your notepad, or whatever it is you're trying to find, and you're all discombobulated just trying to get to work. Trigger the stress response. Then your workday. How many things happen that are possible triggers for you in your workday? So no wonder you're completely depleted and exhausted when you come home from work. So let's take the example of when you become pressure-free. What does that mean, become pressure-free? What that means, and my clients will tell you this, pressure-free means that no matter what situation, from the alarm in the morning, to the commute, to the project you're doing, till your workout, where you got frustrated because you didn't run a PR, or whatever the thing is, all of those little things, every time they rise up, you stay free. That's why it's pressure free of triggering the fight or flight stress response. So how do we do that? I'm going to share this probably every single time. I want you to know my method right up front. My method is not difficult, but here's the deal. I could share some very specific tools with you here, and you could try them. And then you're like, well, this doesn't work. You try it and it doesn't work. I'm here to tell you that it completely works, but maybe we haven't found the right tools for you. In my toolkit, I have over 40 tools. That's because you are completely unique. Your background is unique, how you were raised, your genetics are unique. The experiences you have day to day, what's roiling in that head of yours, it's so unique. So I've built so many tools in my course so I can help you find the right tools. And it may take a few sessions, and all of a sudden we land on one. It's like I see it in my client's face. It's like, oh, we found the right tool. It's so exciting. So it takes patience and process to go through this a little bit. And I can't promise what your results would be. My clients get amazing results, all kinds of amazing results. I have had life-changing, altering results for myself. So I can't promise what those are going to be for you, again, because you're unique. Maybe like me, your skin is going to clear up. Every time I see someone who has adult stress acne, I just want to help them. Help me find the right words, by the way. If you have adult stress acne, please private message me and tell me, like, what words, if I saw you on the street or behind a counter, if I was somewhere and you were there and I saw that you had this, what would I say that you would be like, oh, thank God someone sees me and can help me? Because I've helped people with hair loss, with stress acne, with eczema, with gut issues, with heart issues, with throat closing asthma issues, you name it, immune system issues, you name it, because the stress hormones affect every cell of our bodies. And they also weaken every cell of our bodies, hence incredible immune problems, incredible allergy issues. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. We're talking specifically, though, about getting through that wall, helping you get through that wall. So that is what I'm going to really focus on in the last half of this talk, is understanding the wall and then getting through the wall. So from a resting heart rate, hopefully you're right here with me right now and you're fairly pressure-free. I'm not triggering you, right? From a resting heart rate, it takes about 10 seconds before the amygdala in your brain can tell your heart rate to charge up, can tell your little tiny adrenal glands to release adrenaline. Now, I'm a little slow. I didn't really equate adrenaline with adrenal, just because it's pronounced differently, I guess. So adrenaline is just one catecholamine. So it's a little flood of hormones called catecholamines. I refer to it as cocktail. The first cocktail is going to go out specifically to get fat and glucose out of these cells into your bloodstream, so you have a massive amount of energy to fight or run away. You might be running on adrenaline, and that's why you're actually addicted to the stress response, because you get this hit of adrenaline and catecholamines for a lot of different effects, but it gives you this like instant energy. I used to think I was super mom because I was running on adrenaline. But then you hit the wall. And you could hit the wall if you're a runner, like think of a track is 400 meters around, most of them today. Even if you just run 100 meters, a quarter of that, you can still hit the wall. It's crazy, but I watch it happen. I watch sprinters sprint out, and then all of a sudden you can see it. It's almost like they actually physically hit something, and now they're a little bit in slow motion for the last little bit. If it's a longer race, oh, it's so easy to see. You see the hitting of the wall. And you'll think you're done. You're not done. You're not done. So here are some things that could cause you to trigger that. Then you're definitely going to hit the wall. I'm going to take running, for example, again, and just use it as a metaphor for whatever your deal is, okay? But it's very easy to see in running. The starting pistol. So many of the students I have coached, so many of the runners I've coached, they hear that starting pistol and their heart jumps. They've gone into fight or flight just in that moment from that starter pistol. And so now the catecholamines go out. They have a ton of energy to start, and then they hit that wall. And I see it happen over and over and over again. And they feel like it's exhaustion, but here's what I see. Like 20 minutes after their race, they're just like running all over the infield again. They are full of energy. So they didn't pull so much glycogen out of their liver that they're completely done. That's not the case at all. That is not the case at all. What's really happening is that they've gone into fight or flight. They hit that wall. Hi, Amanda. I'm just going to be hon.
Hi.
Where are you? And I'll open up after we're done. I close my live and we get to talk, okay? Anybody on Zoom, we get to talk after I finish the live here. And so we get about 10 more minutes here of coaching. So we're hitting the wall. How do we get through the wall? How do we get through that wall? Here are some very specific things you can do. The first thing that you can do is note ahead of time, what is it that's causing you to go into fight or flight? What is it? Like even the whole day ahead of time, even the whole night ahead of time, especially if you have a meeting you have to attend and give a speech, or so any public speaking or a performance or a race, if you're a weekend warrior, any of that. Watch what happens the night before. You're a little bit nervous about what's going to happen tomorrow. That's the perfect time to use a pressure-free tool. If it's the night before, here are a couple of tools that I would share with my clients. And so you're trying to get to sleep because you know you want to do great tomorrow. And now you're afraid you're not going to get enough sleep. And then you're going to hit that wall. It's not going to be good. So the first thing I do is remove the word sleep from your mind and just say, I'm going to get all the rest I need. There's something about the word rest versus sleep that is really quite powerful. And so if you just say, yeah, I'm going to get all the rest I need tonight, that can just kind of settle your nervous system a little bit. The next tool that's coming up for me to share is that your nervous system, and I learned this from my body coach, your nervous system has a directionality to it. And imagine a dog. So if this is my dog's back and I pat the hair this way against the grain, the dog does not like that, right? It bristles, it's not happy. But if you pat it the right way, it's very happy. You can try this with your own arm. Like if you go up the arm, it's a very different sensation than going down the arm. So if you're in bed and you're having trouble sleeping, let's go down from the top of the shoulder and just go all the way down over the hand. And get your hand to be very soft, because this Eek. Remember when you were a little kid and you played hide and seek and you went, eek, oh no, there you are. Like you're trying to protect yourself. You're actually going into fight or flight, by the way. It's like, so if your hand is really soft, you're telling your brain you're fine. So a little self-soothing on the arms. You can also go down your thighs. I teach this to students who have test anxiety. It's incredible what happens. Just go down your thighs. If you're driving in traffic and starting to get a little road rage, take one hand and just go down your thigh for a moment. It will just self-soothe you. Don't go up, just go down. So I learned that from my body coach, Leila Veronica. It's been so great for my clients to know that. The other thing is when you do an unusual motion, like you don't go around patting yourself all day, I'm going to guess, right? So if you do an unusual motion, that's one of the only ways an adult brain can instantly create new neural pathways, and you get to develop a new habit quite quickly. So when you say, I'll get all the rest I need, and you pat down like this, you just lodge something very different in your head than how you usually feel if you're anxious about something the night before. So watch the evening and watch that night before for anything that might cause you to feel anything like that. And just do a couple of these very simple tools. You can also smile. That keeps neuropeptides going. The neuropeptides are little molecules that allow the neurotransmitters that keep your brain functioning to work well. We want your brain to stay focused so you can actually not go into fight or flight, and that will help you as well. So I always concentrate a little bit on what happens in the nighttime. And then, of course, when you first wake up. So as I mentioned earlier, you might want to change the ringtone on your alarm, or see if you can just wake up naturally without an alarm at all. And this is something that I'm just going to go deep tonight. Well, this is called deep dive for a reason. So if you were my client, this is what I would tell you to do. First, when you open your eyes, see if, I don't care if it's a poster or you're looking out your window at a tree or a mountain or just anything, or your partner, but look at something that's beautiful to you. Look at something that's beautiful to you. So your eyes, when they first open up, see beauty. And then what do you hear? If it's that wank, wank, wank alarm, can you change it to something that's very gentle and soothing and beautiful? Or if you're getting up naturally, can you hear the birds outside? Now, depending on your time zone and what area of the time zone you live in, those birds could be up very early right now, like at 4:30 a.m. if you're on the eastern edge of your time zone. But see if you can just hear something beautiful. So you're seeing something beautiful, you're hearing something beautiful, peaceful. And then the third is the very first thoughts in your head. So the bookends of your day are very important. We just talked about night and now this early morning. Humans in almost every culture and religion for millennia did something in the bookends of their day. They put words in their heads of some sort of prayer for protection. The one when I was little, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I would always get to that point, I'm like, am I going to die tonight? Like, if I die before I wake, think about that. That is a very ancient prayer because people didn't know if they would make it through the night. They didn't know. There were so many dangers for so many centuries, so many dangers. So prayer, or whatever words you want to put in, gratitude, love, confidence, and it can even be just a couple of words or phrases, morning and night, can be so helpful. You choose it. Don't let your brain go on autopilot. This weekend at our retreat, which was so amazing, one of the retreat participants mentioned that they used to wake up and just kind of go like, okay, it's time to get up, idiot. Like the negative self-talk, right? We've all done it. We've all been our worst best friends. So it's like, what are you saying first thing in the morning? It's really beautiful. So what do you see? What do you hear? What are you saying in your head? What are you thinking? And see if you can begin to just be aware of anything else that might trigger you until you get to the big thing you're doing. If you do hit the wall, by the way, if you trigger fight or flight, or you've done so much work all day, but you have one more thing you have to do, and you've got to power through, When the moment you start to feel the resistance, like the pushback on yourself, that is the moment to go soft, to open. Because your tendency, just like if it's really windy out, you brace into the wind, right? You brace in. So if you can go open and let the wind just go right through you, same thing with the wall. When you start to hit that wall, open the front of your body instead of try to attack it. Because you'll see that your body tightens. When you get exhausted, your body goes tight. So if you can do the opposite, open, and then in your mind, open to possibility. I'm open to the possibility that this retreat that we just had so much fun in it. It was, I mean, it was very serious. We went super deep, super fast. And I really thank everybody for just going so deeply, so quickly, because that's how magic happens. But we also did really fun things. All of us adults swang on swings last night at the beach. That was hilarious. And one person gave another an underdog. Like, I actually jumped off the swing. I almost thought I broke my leg, but no, I was like, everyone was having fun. And then again tonight, it was like we finished the celebratory dinner with my family and a couple people still here. And then I'm like to my youngest, let's go play tennis. Just do the one more thing. And when you stay in that energy of open to the possibility, it's incredible what starts to happen. So stay open to the possibility. Put those words right in your head. It's incredibly helpful when you're hitting the wall. And then you need to smile. You absolutely need to smile. If you go down through my Facebook feed, you will see a post I reshared by Maggie Van Oosten, who was a young woman. I coached her when she was 11. I coached her again when she got married, and I coached her husband. I've coached her brother. I've coached her mother. I haven't coached her dad yet. Maybe someday. But like, I've coached so many of those family members. They do, and that family does incredible things, by the way. But Maggie had posted her watch, and she had written one of the phrases that, as a track coach for her, I always used to say, smile and fly, smile and fly, smile and fly. Because I want my runners to just like fly over it's like effortless. Do you know what I mean? They never hit the wall. It's just like, I'm just flying. And so, but the smile is first. Again, when those neuropeptides release, your brain believes in the possibility. But if you're not smiling and you hit the wall, you'll see the face, it's RBF, right? We don't bring our best game face home. After a long day of work, what are we? Oh my God, honey, it was such a horrible day. It's terrible. The kids want to play with you like, I can't, honey, I'm too exhausted. Right? This is not good. And so that's just, our very first little foray into performance anxiety, specifically about hitting the wall tonight. I gave you a few tools. Again, if you try these tools, you're like, they don't work, please be patient. Over the next 6 days, I'm going to share a lot of different tools. You're so unique, and we need to find the ones that work best for you. So stay tuned to 9 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm just going to do, again, the next 6 days, starting tonight, next 5 days after this, we're going to do a deep dive. And I'm so here for you. If you have questions, DM me, just message me. I'm happy to. And if you want to go deeper, just please go right to my website, lingalls.com. You'll see a little button for a free consultation. And, so many of my clients will say to me, oh my gosh, Al, why didn't I do this months ago? I've suffered or years ago. One woman said, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? Suffered for so long with some condition in your being that didn't have to be there. So I'm so here for you, and we'll see you tomorrow night. And if you're on Zoom, stay with me. I'm just going to take off the live here on Facebook. Let's see, where are we? Oh, stop. And we'll stop the recording too. See you tomorrow.